Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today I'm going to do a stuffed pork loin roast. I know I've stuffed pork loin roasts before, but it is one of my favorite things to do with them. We're doing a little different today. We are going to use apple and walnut stuffing. So I have some celery, garlic, onion, a Granny Smith apple, some crushed walnuts. You could use just walnut pieces, garlic, and of course bread, or you could use bread crumbs. Coarse bread crumbs, that is. You don't want them too fine because we're not trying to make a mush. And peach juice. You could use apple juice, which is perfectly acceptable and actually goes with the apple, but I just happen to have a nice jar of peach juice in the cupboard. If I have time, I will make a lovely Dijon glaze for the finished roast. So let's get started with cutting up the vegetables, and of course we have to butterfly our roast so we can stuff it. Hopefully there's enough light that you can see what I'm doing. So to butterfly our roast, go about 1 inch up from the cutting board into the bottom of the roast and just slice in. Don't go all the way through. Fold it over, and then again make a nice slice into that side of the roast, trying to keep it even. Again, do not go all the way through. And I think this side is thick enough. We can give it another shot here. We're just sliding. There we go. Set it nice flat. So now we have a lovely big surface. Let's back out so you can see that better. Okay. This is a 1 kilogram pork loin. And now we've butterflied it, so we have a lovely big surface for our stuffing. We're just going to fold it back together for now while we make the stuffing. And we'll just put that back in the fridge. To make our stuffing, start it pretty much the same way you would a bread stuffing for chicken or a turkey. I'm going to melt some butter in a pan. Maybe half a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to add half of a medium yellow onion, finely diced, and 1 stalk of celery, finely diced. I'm just going to let those soften for a few minutes. And we're going to add 1 Granny Smith apple, chopped up, fairly small, not really fine. And while that cooks, get your breadcrumbs or your bread slices ready. I've just cut mine into small cubes. And as you can see there, I have, it's about 2 cups of white bread. And yes, it is store-bought compressible white bread. Although not Wonder Bread, I did buy a slightly better brand than that. And it's just cut into small cubes. Once your onions and celery have softened, your apples really aren't going to soften a whole lot at this point. We're going to add some seasoning. We're going to add the garlic. So that's 2 cloves of garlic, finely minced. If you don't like garlic, leave it out. And we're going to add a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And a quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Mix that in. Of course, we want a little bit of salt. Just a good pinch. Everything coated with the spices. And then we're going to pour in our peach juice. And this is a 500 ml jar. We're going to use about half of it. And then we're just going to let everything simmer for about 10 minutes. Increasing the temperature so that it'll come up to a boil. And once it starts to boil, we reduce the temperature and let it simmer. Okay, after about 10 minutes, most of the liquid should have cooked away. And your apples should be softening. They should still have some crunch to them. So let's get a little taste here. Very nice. We still have some more things to add to it, but we're going to turn this off now and let it cool before we add it to the bread cubes. Or if you're using breadcrumbs, to your breadcrumbs. To our breadcrumbs, we are going to add about a half a cup of the walnuts and a good handful of chopped flat leaf parsley. Just give that a bit of a stir in. And we are going to put in our apple mixture. In there. There should be enough liquid in the apple mixture to moisten your bread. If there isn't, add a little bit more of the juice. But you don't want it all soggy. I mean, you're not making a paste. It is a stuffing, not a paste. There we go. And again, check to make sure you got enough salt in it. That is perfect. We don't want it over salted because we are going to salt our pork. So let's get the pork roast out. Alright, time to stuff our pork roast. So let's unfold it again. There we go. And we're going to spread our mixture, our stuffing mixture, evenly across the roast. Yeah. and leave, you can see that, leave about an inch or so at one end, because as you roll it up, it is going to push that way, because we're going to roll from this end. Okay. And we need a little bit extra to make the finish. And just need a little extra on the end so that it will roll up properly. And spread the stuffing as close to the edges as you can. Now I'm going to turn this so I can roll it. Let's get it where you can see it. Just start at the end that you didn't leave bare and start to roll. And if you can see that the stuffing is pushing to that end. If you'd not left that end bare, it would have pushed itself right off the end. So there we go. Now put the seam down. And you need some butcher's twine, which is just a good cotton twine. You need quite a bit of it. Now if you're not good at doing the butcher tie up, just do it in sections and tie each off, but I like to do it all in one go. So slide your string under, pull it tight and tie it off. Oops. Get it right up to the edge. You don't want it too far back from the end. Make sure it's no more than an inch or less. There we go. And now you can just cut that off and keep going, like one string at a time, or you can do the proper butcher tie, which is using the long piece. Just again, run it underneath the roast. And through there. And pull it tight. And try to get your strings evenly spaced. The string will loosen up anyway. So just make sure our stuffing is in all the little crevices. Wash my hands. Now, before we put our roast in the pan, we are going to salt and pepper it. And I tend to go light with the pepper, but if you like pepper a lot, use a little more than I do. But I'm just sprinkling a little tiny bit of salt and pepper all around the roast. There we go. Now we want to put it in. Now you put it in the pan with the seam side down. Get this out of the way. ready for the oven. And this is a 1 kilogram roast. And we've stuffed it. So it is going to take 1.5 to 2 hours. You can check it sooner if you're worried about it, but stuffed meat takes longer to cook than non-stuffed, same as bone-in meat takes longer to cook than boneless. So we'll preheat our oven to 350 and get our roast in. Our roast has been in the oven for 1 hour and 3/4, so we're going to give it a check. Thinking it's done. I'm going to take it out of the pan. And put it on a serving platter. Now we're going to make our Dijon sauce. So what we need to do is drain what's in our pan into a small pot. There we go. Of course, as always, when you take your roast out of the oven or your steaks off the fire, you want to let them rest. So you usually cover them with some tin foil. That will help them reabsorb the moisture that has cooked out. So we have the juice that was in the bottom of the roasting pan. And there's a couple of bits of bread in there, but that's okay. Turn that on and onto a low heat. We're going to add some of our peach juice. If you used apple juice, go ahead and use that for this as well. So probably 225 mils. Once that gets up to a light simmer, we're going to add some Dijon mustard. When we start to get a bubble in there, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Stir it in good. Well, that already looks so luscious. Let's have a little taste here. Very heavy on the mustard, so we're going to add some more of that peach juice. And let it boil down. We'll just let this keep cooking until we're happy with the flavor. We may need to add some salt, but we'll let it cook a little bit before we decide on that. So we've let it boil down a little bit, and we've added a tablespoon of butter, which has smoothed it out quite a lot, but we still need to thicken it. So now you can use your favorite thickener. Rice starch, potato starch. I use tapioca starch generally, and that's about a teaspoon of tapioca starch mixed with water. And just keep stirring and turn the heat off. It becomes a lovely thick gravy. So I'm taking it off. This makes the most beautiful presentation. If you want to do it for a buffet, it's wonderful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Once you get it all sliced, delightful. Put it on your plate, and we have some of that beautiful mustard sauce and some fresh green vegetables. And I can't tell you how wonderful it smells in here. Kind of a cross between the most gorgeous roast pork and an apple pie. It's delicious. Have a little taste of that stuffing. Oh. And the roast just falls apart. That is absolutely fantastic. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Make a comment. Share with your friends. Everything you do helps me advance my channel. I've just surpassed 100 subs, which is a great milestone. But I still have a long way to go. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon with a new video.